Welcome to Science Minds YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to explore Windows 10 environment. What is Windows 10? It's a specific type of a computer program that manages other programs on a computer device. It is developed by Microsoft Corporation that works not only with computers but also mobile computer devices such as your smartphone and a tablet. It has three major tasks, and one of namely manage the computer hardware. It manages the application software installed on your computer. An example of an application would be your Word, Excel, PowerPoint. It can be an email application, it can be a gaming application, a calculator, any kind of an application. An operating system such as Windows 10 will manage such an application to function. It also manages the data generated and stored on your computer. Okay. When you switch on your computer, this is how your Windows 10 environment looks like. This area, we refer to it as a desktop. It's also an application. It's a simulated desk where you can place your files, your other applications, as well as folders. Okay, and then these things here, we refer to them as an icon. The very first one that we have is called a recycle bin. What a recycle bin does is that whatever that you delete from the computer's main memory will not be permanently deleted. It goes into the recycle bin temporarily until such time where you decide to go and empty your recycle bin. Okay, and then the area underneath there, we call it a taskbar. The first button there, it's a start button. When you click on it, you will see that it gives you a list of all the applications that are installed on your computer, the files and folders, and right next to it is a search button. A search button allows you to search for anything that is inside a computer that is not easily accessible, or maybe you just don't remember where you saved it or installed it. So let's say for an instance, we want to search for a 3D paint. We don't know where it is in the computer, or we do not remember where it is. You can go there and type 3D. So anything, you'll see that immediately when I type in 3, it's actually pulling up everything that has the word 3 that's installed or saved on a computer. We have a Paint 3D, a 3D viewer, as well as a Print 3D. All right, so then I can click on this Paint and have it open. Please notice that as soon as I open it, then it's part of my taskbar there. There's an untitled Paint. Okay, so that means it's open, it's active. We know that because also there is that blue underline underneath it. Okay, so you'll see that I have Windows 10 PowerPoint active, WhatsApp, there's JW. Okay, the fact that they have an underline underneath it, that means they are open, they are not closed. Okay, how do I close an open application? On top of an application or a dialog box such as this, the Untitled Paint 3D, we have three buttons. That dash one is a minimize button that if you click on it, then it disappears, but you'll see that we still have a blue underline underneath it. So that means I didn't close it, I just minimized it, and then I can go back to it and open it later. And then I also have a restore or maximize button. If I click on it, then it fills the screen. I've maximized it, and I can go and restore it to the original size. And that last button is for close. Then I can close my application and it's no longer on the taskbar. So how do I make an application to be part of a taskbar like that? Okay, I will show that later, but let me actually show it now. So on your we have a device on a computer. So remember, a computer, it comes with certain, okay, A computer to be fully functioning, we have certain external devices that help in that regard, and one of them being a mouse. Okay, so we have this symbol on your screen. You'll see that I am moving my mouse pad. So and then there is this symbol, an arrow. We call this a mouse pointer. It moves as I'm moving my mouse. Okay, so it will change shape on the screen depending on what I am pointing to. So you'll see that it will not always be that arrow there. So your mouse has two buttons. We have what we call a left button. So a single click item is to select an item. It doesn't do anything else. But if you double click on a mouse, then it is to perform a function. Whereas a right button, a single clicking of a right button will display a shortcut menu of options. All right. So going back to the desktop now. So what I'm going to do is open that 3D and then make it part of a taskbar there. So we normally do that if you have an app that you regularly make use of, but you don't want to be closing it and searching for it again in the future, closing it, so you regularly make use of it. So rather than always searching for it, you would rather pin it on the taskbar or create a shortcut of it on a desktop. You'll see that I have shortcut of my WhatsApp there on a desktop. And then also I have, there is my emails on the taskbar, which I have decided to pin its program or application on my taskbar. So let's go search for the 3D Paint again. There I have my application open. Okay. So I'm not going to click new. I just want it to be part of a taskbar so that every time I want to open it, I don't have to go search for it. For easy access, I can just go click on it on my taskbar. So how do we go about that? So now on my mouse or on my mouse or a touching pad, I can do a right click. Remember we said a right click will display a short menu of options. So that's what I am going to do now. Right click, and then I get options, and one of the options is to pin to taskbar. Click on it, left click once, and then if now I close it, it doesn't go anywhere. It's part of my taskbar. And then if tomorrow I want to make use of it again, rather than going and searching for it, I can just go and click once there, and I can work with my Paint 3D. Okay, but how do I unpin it? So sometimes a taskbar can be clustered, and then now the icons would become so small that they are not easily identifiable, defeating the purpose of easy access. So I can remove what I no longer need on the taskbar, and we call that unpinning. So I go back to my Paint 3D, right click on my mouse, and then say unpin from taskbar. And then if you are making use of so if you're making use of a laptop, what we make use of now is this part here called a touchpad. It works exactly the same as your mouse, but rather than you touching the actual mouse and moving it around, you will be moving your finger around in order to get to your object. And this would be your left click, and that will be your right click. So you touch it and move your finger around it. Whereas with a mouse, you will grab hold of the mouse and make use of two fingers in order to select left or right button. So next we're going to do what we call file management within the Windows 10 environment. File management then will categorize your work. Okay, so you will decide, okay, let me create a folder like I have here on the desktop called SMI, and then inside this folder I will have subfolders. I have a subfolder for the amazing race. I have a subfolder for computer literacy, and then now inside this folder you can have subfolders again, and then inside a subfolder you can have what we call files. Those pictures, we refer to them as files. It can be a picture, it can be a Word document, it can be an Excel spreadsheet, or anything. Okay. And then so on, so on. So how do we go about creating this folder? If you are on your desktop, remember we make use of a right click and a left click. You'll see that for me to select that SMI folder, I just left click once and it just selected. But for me to be able to open it, I need to left click twice and then it's open. All right. So let's try to delete that attendance register. I can go right click, get a short menu of options, and one of the options is to delete. But remember, this is on computer's memory. It's not on secondary storage. So we know that it's not permanently deleted. So if somehow I deleted that by mistake, I can go and open my recycle bin, then right click and then restore this to its original place. So if I go back to SMI, that register will be back where it was. Okay, so that's as the purpose of a recycle bin. But if you go right click, okay, remember right click, what does it mean? A short menu of options. If you say recycle, empty recycle bin, then everything inside it will be permanently deleted, and then you can no longer access the files that you mistakenly deleted and want to restore. All right, so I'm going to create a folder now on a desktop. So I right click. On a right click, you'll see that there is a menu show an option that says new. What do I want to create? A folder. And then I can name this folder anything by typing in. This one I am calling a demo. All right. So I'm going to delete this folder. And then now I can right click and say delete, or on the keyboard. Okay. Let's go get a keyboard image. So a keyboard will look like this. And then somewhere with most keyboards on the right top corner, it will be the key delete. Okay. So that will be an option of deleting an item if you don't want to make use of a right click like I am doing here. So we can do this file management not only on desktop, because we also need to be careful of clustering our desktop. It's not going to look neat if there's a whole lot of things that are full on it. Okay. So what we can do is do our file management in what we call a file explorer. All right. The file explorer, normally when you install your Windows 10, automatically it will be pinned on your taskbar there. It's that yellow icon. You'll see when I put my insertion point or a pointer there, it says File Explorer. Okay, so I'm going to left click on it once to open it. And this is how a File Explorer looks like. Remember, we can use this Maximize Restore button to make it small or big. Okay, so what do we have on a File Explorer? We have what we call a ribbon on top there, and then now it has three tabs. There's a file tab, and then there's also a computer tab and the view tab. So this area, we refer to it as a ribbon. We can expand our ribbon by clicking on that arrow on the left hand side of the blue question mark, and then we can also hide it from there. Okay, we also have what we call a search box. So this one, just like that search box that we use on a taskbar, it enables us to search for anything that we have saved in our computer. And then this, we refer to it as an address bar. Address bar tells you exactly where you are in this specific computer. Then we have what we call a navigation bar. This area on the left hand side enables you to navigate from one place to the next on your computer. And on the right hand side, we have what we call a file list. So this one will list all the files, apps, folders of the area that you have selected. You'll see that on the left hand side, This PC is automatically selected when we open File Explorer. So this PC, what we call, it's a root directory. That means that all the drives are spanning from this root directory. You'll see that on the list, on the file list, we have different folders. There's your desktop app. That's the desktop app that we explored when we switched on our computer. Okay, and then you can access it from here, desktop. You will see that all the folders and the files, remember we had deleted the SMI folder, it's there. Okay, and then back to this PC, there's music, there's pictures, all the pictures that you save, that you capture, your screenshots. We also have drives and devices. So I only have two drives here, the T drive as well as the C drive. And if I go and insert a memory stick or a flash drive onto the computer's USB port, then it will immediately appear as one of the drives here. That is an external or secondary storage. Okay, so this is this PC. So I am going to go now on this PC. I want to go to my desktop, and on my desktop I want to open the folder SMI. So on this folder, what we're going to do now is create files and folders. Okay, so the difference between a file and a folder. A file is a collection of information stored on a computer under a single name. Okay, like if we go there, let me check documents. There is a file with a single name called business plan. Okay, then a folder is a container for stored files. Windows 10 organizes and keeps track of electronic files by letting you create and label folders in which you place your files. So here I have a folder called SMI. Inside this folder, I have another folder. So if there's a folder inside a folder, we refer to it as a subfolder called documents. Okay, and you see that inside the document folder, then I have a folder certificates. I have a file called business plan. I have a file called certificate, a file called constitution, and so on, so on. So in this way, then I am able to categorize my work accordingly. I have a folder for Amazing Race. There's a folder for computer literacy, for important documents, for English past question papers, grade 12 files, and so on, so on. So that's what a file management is used for. And then we also have the drive. You'll remember that in one of the previous videos, we actually explored the Google Drive, the G Drive. Okay, that's when you save work now, not on the computer, not on some secondary storage like your memory stick, but rather on the internet. Okay, so that one, the G Drive, the one that we explored, was one owned by Google. So Windows or Microsoft also owns or has developed a cloud storage, and their name's cloud storage is called OneDrive. Just like the Google Drive, you would have to create your credentials, your username, the password, and then when you go and access it, you would have to insert your credentials, then you have access to your work. So whatever that you save here, remember, you can't lose it until you delete it because it's on the internet. You can use it on any device. So if you missed that video and you don't know enough about cloud storage, do check the previous video on cloud storage. All right. So moving on, I'm going to go back to this PC, desktop, the SMI folder. So we are now going to do our file management. All right. So we're going to create folder and file. We will delete, copy some things, rename, and so on, so on. Let's begin by creating a folder. Okay. So on the home tab, then you see that I have on the ribbon an icon that says new folder. Okay. I can click on it and I get a new folder then. So I can name this one demo. Okay, so we're going to work inside that one. Or alternatively, I could have used the right click right click anywhere on that area, go to new folder. You just choose a method that you are most comfortable with. Okay, so on the demo folder now, what I want now is to create a file. Let's say we want to take a screenshot and then save it in that folder. We're also going to create a Word file and save it in that folder. All right. Okay, I have taken a print screen of what I have now. So I will go to File and say New Window, so that I can try to access this picture that I just took of my screen. Okay, on Pictures, on my File Explorer, I will go for Screenshots, and then when I get there, I can right click and say Sort by Date, so that the most recent one comes first. All right, so if I double click to open it, you'll see that is the screen of that picture. And then I can now go cut this. How do I cut something now or copy it? I can right click and say cut, then go back to my demo folder there, this PC desktop as my demo. When I get there, right click and say paste. So that will no longer be on that area because I have removed it from them. But here I have it. I can open it, and there's a screenshot of that picture. Okay, so I just created a file. So what I can do with this file now is rename that file. Okay, so one of the options on the ribbon is to rename this folder. So remember, if you don't see a full menu of the ribbon, you can expand it from this arrow here that is on the left hand side of your question mark. So from there, I can go and say rename, and then this one I can call maybe just a pig. So I can rename it to any name. So I'm going to create another file now. Okay, I will open a Word document. I will search for the Word application. There it is. Open it. Okay, blank document. So now I'm going to go and say File, Save As. This is on this PC, or we can say Browse. Desktop. We want to save in a folder named SMI. So we go and look for it. There we have it. And then in here we had a subfolder named Demo. And then this document now I want to name anything. We can say Word 1. And then we say Save. Okay. So now I can close it, and then now I have two files inside my demo folder. The one named pig and the other one named Word. All right. So now what we're going to do is copy and move files. Okay. I can go copy a file from the Amazing Race folder. Okay. I will take one of the pictures there. So right click. I do a copy. Okay. Go back there to my demo folder. When I get there, I'm going to say right click, paste. All right, let's go back and take another file from somewhere, documents. Let's say now we want the Constitution. Rather than right clicking and saying copy, we can use the option that says copy to. We say copy to, and then choose location. When we get there, we search where do we want this. I want this on my desktop on a folder called demo. Oh, it was the demo folder is inside SMI, and then there is demo on SMI. Oh, I missed it. SMI demo, and then inside the demo I say copy. So if we go back now to our demo folder, you'll see now I have copied these two files. Okay, this one and that one, as well as the ones that I have created. You can also move files. So remember, when you move it, you are actually removing it from the previous location. So the option to move is to cut rather than copy, or you can say move to, let's say desktop, and then it completely disappears there. But when we go to desktop, okay, we will find that file there. So it's on the desktop, but it's no longer on our demo folder because we used a move function rather than a copy to function. All right. So now with deleting files, it's very easy. You can just go on a file, right click and say delete. And then remember, if you did that by mistake, you can always restore it from the recycle bin, unless if you deleted it from an external or secondary storage, of which you will get a warning that it will be permanently deleted. All right. So now we are done with file management. What we are going to do is to compress and decompress files and folders. All right. I am now going to compress inside the desktop SMI, the Amazing Race folder. You will see that I have a whole lot of pictures in them. And then when the size is not compressed, if I put a mouse cursor in there, it says it's 15.5 megabytes. So if I go and compress it, I will get a compression option when I right click to get this short menu of options. So the option that we are looking for is send to. And then now we're going to select the option compressed or zipped folder. And there it's creating it. So we have two folders that have exactly the same name. The other one is in a zipped folder and the other one not. So the size here was 15.5 megabytes and the size here is 15.4 megabytes. It didn't reduce it that much, but just a little bit. Okay, with some files it does actually give a much more reduction of storage. And then what's nice about this, like I said, it's going to now, when I send this anywhere else, it will be easy to upload. Let's say maybe I want to save this on my cloud storage. It will take less time to upload the compressed one than the uncompressed one. And then, but once I'm inside there, I will not be able to make changes on those files that are inside. Okay, I am now trying to rename it. It's not possible. Right click, there's no rename. And then we can go to the home tab, rename. There we have it. It's disabled. That's because the files are inside a zipped folder. So if maybe I had uploaded it on my cloud and then later I download it on a different device and I want to make changes on those files, I would have to go and decompress this first. Okay, so how do we go about decompressing a file? Okay, let's compress another one, the demo. Okay, alternatively, I can do this compression inside the share tab on top, the file home share view. On the share tab, you can click on it and just say zip. And then you'll see there I have a zipped demo folder. Okay, let's go back. So that means it's demo there. And then if you go down, you should see a zipped demo folder with exactly the same files as inside. So, okay, I'm back. So you can either right click, say send to compressed folder, or you can just go to the share button and say zip. Okay, let's go about extracting. How do I extract these files? So I'm going to delete the original demo folder. Okay, so that we don't have it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to extract that one. So on the zipped one, if I want to edit any file that is in that zipped folder, I have to unzip it or extract it. Okay, those are the terms. I right click and then I'm going to say extract all, and then I will say extract. Alternatively, I select it and then on the share, okay, this is zipped. Okay, right click, extract all, extract. And there you will have a decompressed, unzipped or extracted folder of the demo folder. All right, that is it with Windows 10. That is it with file management. I hope you enjoyed this video. And then one last thing, do remember, if you want to switch off your computer, it's not advisable to just do it on a plug or pull plugs out. You will have to close all your applications one by one, like I'm doing here, closing my emails and everything else, and so on. So when all of them are closed, then you can go to the start button, go to the power button, and then on the power button, choose the option to shut down. That way, it's not going to force stop everything. Even if there's still some applications open, it will warn you that there are still some application open, and then any unsaved work will be lost.